Hi guys, welcome to FriYay. Hope everybody's been having an amazing day. Mine's been a little crazy, but we're feeling blessed. We're feeling good. Hello, welcome to FriYay. It's definitely been a yay day for me. Lots of things. We're just gonna wait, give it a second for our friend who we're gonna be talking to today. His name's Alex, but everybody calls him Oso. So we're gonna wait for him to. Okay, he just chimed in. So I am excited for today. So just a little background on what it is the Miami Give Back does. The Miami Give Back is an organization that gives haircuts, and I mean they do everything really for the homeless in Miami. And the work that they do is absolutely incredible. So I'm excited for our guest speaker to speak on some of that today, and just so we can hear a little bit about him. So I'm actually going to accept him in right now, and we're going to start the interview. Let's see. Hello.
Hey, Carol, what's up?
I'm not. It's definitely been a wild day for me. How are you doing?
Oh, about the same, about the same. Just I'm excited to talk, really. I like this. I like what you're doing. It's amazing.
I
You
know.
always do great work yourself.
Oh, thank you. I think it's just cool for the kids to hear from like all different kinds of people. And I definitely think that you and Daniela, especially being like I feel like a lot of people that do a lot of charity work are usually older, so it's really cool for
Yes.
them to hear from like younger people that are doing it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
No, for sure.
so can you just start by telling us like a little bit of background about you, kind of like, how you grew up and um basically how you got into doing being a barber and stuff like that?
Well, see. It's funny. I grew up in a trailer park where I found a lot of jobs not as cool and as entertaining. I was a little bit of a product of my environment, a urban street community, where we were kind of poor and stuff like that. So my atmosphere didn't really let me appeal to the dressy up guy type atmosphere. You get me? That I once thought barbering was. Um, so when somebody told me, "What do you think about barber school?" Because first I thought I'd try to do HVAC, air conditioning. That wasn't quite up my alley. I did security for a little bit. It wasn't quite my style either. Once they offered barbering to me and I tried it out, I knew it was definitely something that I would be into. I feel like barbering did change my life. When I first started cutting hair, people used to tell me to practice as much as you can. And the easiest way I found to find volume was actually cutting the homeless. So
Okay.
I learned from cutting the homeless, actually just showing up and doing similar things we did now. Obviously, I didn't have food because I was still young to give out, and I didn't
Yeah.
think much of it. To me, I was just taking advantage of messing somebody's head up. After I got good, and I started to to develop my skills and get my license and start working, I learned a very funny lesson. I had once promised a friend, "Hey, let me practice on you, and when I get good, I won't charge you." So, hey, there's my beautiful wife, the president of the Give Back.
I
Hey,
know.
Daniela, baby girl, I love you. Yes, I told him, hey, I'm never going to cut you. I mean, I'm never going to charge you when I get good. Just let me mess your hair up now. So I
Mhm.
get good and I get cocky a little later and I try to charge him. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the owner of the shop tells me, why were you arguing with that guy? And I told him, I said, man, I'm good now. Why should he still be trying to get a free haircut? He said, because you know what? This guy let you learn off him. He
Mhm.
deserves that, especially if you gave your word.
Mhm.
I ended up calling back that guy and cutting him for free on a regular basis. And so we ended up, later on, it hasn't lasted this far, but it
Mhm.
did last a long time, and we stayed friends and all that. And I stayed cutting his hair, and I was wrong. And at that moment, I realized I wanted to do something for the community and for the people I learned off of.
Mhm.
So I actually started to do things with the Salvation Army. This was maybe about 10 years ago. I called it Barber Boot Camp. And I saw how barbering saved my life, and
Mhm.
I figured barber could save their life. So I used to try to teach the homeless. Um, it went well. I had 4 or 5 classes. I did it in different Salvation Army locations. I got into where I started to live on my own and I had to work a little more. So little by little, it deteriorated. and you know, I started staying back in the shop. Um, but then once I had moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, for 2 or 3 years, and I came back, you know, about a year ago, and I'm now here, you know, and I see my friend that was doing this with Daniela, the
Mm-hmm.
give back, and I was like, you know, this is definitely right up my alley. And I teamed up with them, and it's been amazing since. It was actually the more that I wanted for my cuts. See, I got into this transition of charging a lot, and that's what I loved, and I thought that was fulfilling the I want more for my cuts,
Mm-hmm.
but it still was not enough. Even though I was getting paid more than the average person and making great money for my haircuts, it didn't fill that void until I came back and started giving back to the community. And then I saw what was that gave me that more was teaching these people how to cut hair, cutting their hair, the mentorship, the feeling of being part of something, the feeling of somebody's happiness flourishing through my haircuts. It made my haircuts be bigger than a 30, 40, $50. You know, it could be somebody being motivated to do something with their life, or you know, picking up the trade and learning a career, and feeding families, buying a house one day. You know, it's just funny that my good friend Rainier Zubirreta, Ray your barber, he is part of my team as well, and he was one of the guys that helped develop to become a barber.
Oh
You get me?
wow.
I brought him to barber school, and to see him years later still doing it, now doing these homeless things, and now we're here together. It's just amazing because I've seen barbering feed his household,
Mm-hmm.
build his kids, buy his home, purchase these cars. And these were the reasons that I like to do the Miami Give Back. And then obviously I ended up dating the president. And then our drive together has been so amazing, you know. And it's we always push each other because we have her in a similar trade, and her doing hair, me doing hair. You know, there is no time to slack because one of us will be fueled to move forward. So and I feel like that has done a lot, and we've gained a lot of opportunities. Sponsorship. We've met people like you. We've got to work with people like you. She's gotten the Nest of Love. We've got a sponsorship through Wall. Rude.USA has teamed up with us. Lifestyle Miami, God Squad. You know, it's just been a blessing. The resources that is open, and I've never felt like I've ever had so much until I started giving out so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's just some secret in this world that is just happening to me, and I just feel like I haven't needed yet. Even in rough times like this, I felt like I've had no need because I don't know if it's I don't know if it's I'm doing the give back or it's not, but or it's just coincidental. We've been able to survive this whole time. And now I have to speak about something else that I'm glad that I'm going to talk live about. Uh, Natura Essential is hired to come, well, sponsored with the Miami Give Back, and we're collaborating. And we're actually going to be donating sanitizers to 4 local shelters and places. And we definitely want to get together with you. Might have some sanitizers for the kids there, as well as you know, 3 to 4 other places, and that's a blessing. And this is just an example of how the give back has fell into place to be able to do these things. And I tell people and whoever's watching, it started with a post, it started with consistency, and it just flourished. And now, to be honest, I don't mean to discredit anything, but we literally it just falls into place these days, guys. It took 5 to 6 hard months of work to now that literally just things just happen, and it's just like, okay, well, that's what we're doing now, and we could just constantly have something to do, and all the resources, it just takes this what we got going on right here. Social media makes these things easy, so if you want to step up, it is not hard. I am an example of not hard at all. So believe me, it's definitely could be done, and we all have the potential to do it. If you know how to type, you know how to talk, you know how to be consistent in anything you do, you could generate something like this in your community. Or you could team up with people like Carolina and other people to do things in these communities. And I promise you, the universe will keep you fulfilled. You will not need while you're giving.
I agree with that principle no matter what. I 100%. I feel like the secret of life is when you give, like life just always gives it back. Like no matter what, you're not gonna
Um,
be in need. And one thing I did want to ask you about is because you said you grew up kind of in a trailer park situation. Were you the first person in your family to be a barber?
um, yes, yes. My mother liked to do hair, but never did it as a job.
Uh,
I just couldn't picture myself. I had other jobs, like I said, but it's just the freedom of a barber, the We make you look good, we make you feel good, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You become friends with your clients. It's and the potential of growth is fast, as into you work a job right now, you could get a raise of $1 in a year, maybe $2, maybe $5. You know what I'm saying? A barber every month has the potential to increase his salary. You
Yeah.
add 2 new clients, 3 new clients, that adds up to the end of the year at the end of the month. So that's what I loved about it. That a hard work, a sacrifice in a year, you could have a really decent career anywhere, or you could just jumpstart into locations where you can make a decent living. And that's why I chose barbering. And like I said, the freedom we have. I mean, I try to keep it as professional as possible, but when you develop a certain system, you can have a level of freedom that you may not have in other jobs.
Right. The reason I asked that is because I know there's a lot of people out there that might be wondering about it, might be thinking about it, but they're like, man, like nobody else in my family has done it. Like, not to the extent that you're doing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people are curious about, being a nail tech or a hair or anything like that. And they're like, man, I don't know if I'd be good at it because I'm the first. So that's why I wanted to say that, because maybe somebody that would be watching this has thought about it, but they're like, man, I don't know anybody, or I don't have that experience, or I
Well,
nobody in my family.
the Miami Give Back, we offer a mentorship for barbering, and for hairstylists. Obviously, I'm not able to get you to get you your license, but I could give you the trade, the skills that you need. And the Miami Give Back is a great opportunity to practice hands on. I have volunteers who literally come to my event just to have Oh So Fresh standing by them, telling them flick it this way, flick it that way. Now, I will tell people that if you draw, barbering would come easy to you. Now, but barbering is as simple as flicks and memorizing numbers and having the eye for it. You get me? So, and it's not hard drawing. It's just understanding lines and what looks sharp and what looks good on people and complementing facial features. Do I recommend barbering to anybody? Yes, it's a very easy trade. Believe it or not, it's probably about 60% haircut, 40% professionalism and experience. You
Mm-hmm.
get me? Because you'd be surprised how many people don't actually know what real quality work is, but they
Right.
just really love their barber, how they interact, how it makes it feel, the extra stuff, and then everybody does a decent job.
Right.
So like I tell people, it's not hard. It's steps, and they won't let you down when you're learning barbering. I tell you, hey, Willie, man, feel free. Follow my page. Follow the Miami Give Back. I'll do anything it takes to be able to help you any way that I can. I love seeing people flourish through barbering because I live through their greatness. You get me? When I see you flourish with what I taught you, I gave you a talent that to take away that had to snip these.
Right.
So I
And
love
now
barbering.
I just want to take it back to, the give back. Even just the last event that we had gone to, or the last event that was able to happen before all this mess. Um, I don't know if you guys like keep the tally numbers of how many people were there, but that day I swear there was like over 100 people, and
Yes.
I don't even know how many, because there were just so many. And everybody brings clothes and food, and Don Kua, who I interviewed the last 2 weeks ago, and all these amazing things. And so now it's this huge event. And so I think one of the most incredible things that you said today was, it just starts with that one post. It just starts with that one. You just have to do it. And I don't know you guys for that long, but I'm sure at the beginning it was not so big, because I see pictures of when it first
Oh
started
no,
to now.
no. It really is a ripple effect. You get me? It did start off with a post and us following up with people. You get me? You tell me you're gonna go, I'm gonna call you 5 times before you show up. In the beginning, it was like that until we started creating the footage, adding the music to it, letting the experience be known, seeing the people talk, and then other people just started to come in. You get me? I feel Lifestyle Miami helped us out a lot. I must
Mhm.
admit, when he came, other groups came. The thing is, I think about the difference that the Miami Give Back uses is a lot of times, like for instance, I'll see certain groups. I can't think of any by name, but I'll see them there around the same time of our events. But they have their group with their shirts and just that secluded area doing their thing, and it's amazing. They're out there doing something. You get me? The Miami Give Back does a little difference. I call you. I call this person, hey, come on, let's go. Hey, you, come
Yeah.
on. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Ah, your team. Hey. And I want everybody to show up. I want there to be 50 teams to help out, to give these people an experience and a day away from that rough lifestyle that they have. A day away of being hungry. In fact, going to sleep full. You know what I mean? And some little clothing and looking good. And it might just fuel that fire for them to jumpstart and start doing something with their lives. And I've seen it. I'm not now. Listen, we've cut hundreds. We probably thousands by now.
Probably
We've cut.
thousands. Probably
So
thousands.
I'm not gonna tell you that every time I go to give back this happens, but I can tell you it has happened at least once or twice so far where a person has showed up to the give back and told me they're no longer living on that strip on Second and Second because a family member has seen them and they looked clean. And don't get me wrong, I don't know how lifestyle he was living at that moment, but he said his uncle told him, hey, you could crash in the couch till you find yourself and get right. You look a lot better. So the
Wow.
presentation of how he looked gave him an opportunity for his family to work with him again. So
Wow.
I believe my haircut changed that man's life. And this is the main reason the Miami Give Back does what it does. Now, like I said, I'm it's there's thousands of them, and this is not something that happens on a regular basis, but it does happen. And the main reason I like to work with kids is we have way more opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to do that with them than we do with people who've been stuck in this pattern for a long time.
Right.
Now, but the problem is we have to do it.
Yeah.
Is that we have to step up. That's the problem. There's not enough people who actually fall in love with it. People will come, but people don't come regularly. When
Mm-hmm.
they see the familiar face, they get comfortable with you, they believe in you, and they start to believe in themselves.
Yeah.
I eventually will convince you to that you're greatness.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? And that's what I feel like I do at the Miami Give Back. And that's why I keep on, and that's what pushes me forward. Is I must admit I do see results. I can't say I don't. You know, it's to me 1 out of 20 out of 100 is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, especially on that strip
Yeah.
that doesn't have a long turnaround. That same person might be there. I've been here 7 years, Al. 7 years. Yeah, that's my little corner right there. You get me? But the point is, we do have some that we are able to inspire and get them going. And the first thing starts by looking good and then feeling good. And just the fact that we keep going, they feel like, hey, they believe in us. I can believe in me too.
And I mean, I saw even you guys were not too long ago. You guys like took wipes down there to Miami. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And all that with everything that's going on, I feel like everybody's like, I need to take for me, 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 and everybody's just so full of themselves. So the fact that you guys are still, doing stuff in this time for others is amazing. And I think like the last thing that I kind of want to talk about, you've already said it, but you know, how do you feel that since I didn't even know that you had done this for so long before the Miami Give Back,
Oh,
how do
yeah.
you feel that giving back to the community like that has impacted your life? Do you feel like it's transformed you as a person? It's made you a better person?
Um, when I used to do it back in the day, like I said, when I very first started,
Mhm.
it was me just taking advantage of being able to mess up a haircut and trying to learn how to cut hair.
Mhm.
You get me? When I came back, that I've already developed my skills and started doing the classes,
Mhm.
I felt like kind of like I feel now, but just a little different because, it wasn't as a big of a scale. And it was just me. And I was just thinking about me. I'm going to do this. And this is just what I do. You get me? But then when I seen that I influence people and I got people to want to do what I'm doing and people contact me to figure out how to do what I'm doing, I'm like, man, it ain't that hard. Just watch the video and just believe in it. You get me? And it's really just happening. So now I kind of feel like at to where I want to see how far I could go with this. How many can I help?
Yeah.
Because there's not many things. I can't do too many really huge things, but I could do little things in a huge way.
Yeah.
You get me? So now that I see the ripples occurring, I want to take this as far as it could go. You know why? Because I could.
Yeah.
Because it's possible. And like I said about that one guy,
Yeah.
that might get a second chance. Or now that like I said in our outreach teaming up with you, the transition of now I want to focus on kids too. You
Mhm.
get me? And push more for them because they really are the future. And those are really, I could be like, no, you ain't going nowhere. Come here. Come on, let's do this. I believe in you. Let's go, kid. And you're gonna have more time with them. And I love what you're doing. And you really, like I said, some of these locations that I'm dropping sanitizers on, I've made sure all of them were child dominant locations.
Right.
I don't really like to say that those places until we actually do it, you know,
Yeah.
just because I said that I
No,
wouldn't.
no, absolutely.
But we are doing it, and it will be happening next week, and it's a beautiful thing, and I love what you're doing, and it's amazing, Carolina, and you're an inspiration too to people. And we spent all this time talking about me, and I have to say you're doing amazing things, and you know, I love it.
Thank you so much. I mean, but I think at the end of the day, everybody does their piece, right? Like, I cannot cut hair. I do not. Could I learn? Probably, but realistically, not for me. Do I love kids? Yes. And I'm actually ended up deciding to build my whole career studying child psychology off of that because I ended up falling in love with it after being around them so much. I was like, man, why am I not doing this? So, but I think that everybody does their own in their own special way. And what you and Daniela do is something that is, I mean, if when this all goes back to normal and anybody has an opportunity to go to one of their events, like, please go. I remember I walked in, I was like, what? Like, this is
Yeah, we try to
huge.
make it an experience.
And it is so like happy and music and artists and food and it's amazing. The whole experience is amazing, and I know for sure you've impacted more than just one person. I mean, you're being very humble when you say that, because you can see it in their faces and in their eyes, like you said, in the consistency. They know that you care about them and that you're there because you really do, not just because you want to because you care about them. So thank you so much for talking with us today. I'm
Yes,
sure that they're gonna love this, and I'm sorry that Daniela couldn't be here, but I know she's busy right now. But I'd love to
yes.
do another one with both of you
Oh, for
because
sure.
you guys are like
She was so
one of my
disappointed, but it doesn't matter.
you
It's
guys
gonna
are
get
like
done, and
the cute
she'd
one
be
of
willing.
a power couple, and both of you together, what you guys do together is amazing. I mean,
Yes.
she is just like such a positive energy. And what you said before is also true. Like, there's so many people that are like in their, they want to do their own thing, and they want to keep themselves to themselves, and that's okay. But like, honestly, like, you guys are so opening and welcoming, and everybody come and everybody give and everybody do. And that's really what you guys are. Like, you tell everybody come, do, and everybody's a part of this. It's not like you guys are like hogging everything for yourselves. It's really about everybody coming out and doing something amazing. And that is what you guys do, indefinitely. So
Yeah.
thank
Right
you
now we're
so much.
transitioning to try to create ambassadors in different cities, and once we
That's awesome.
transition to that, I feel like we can really impact. Yes. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm sure Daniela would be willing and ready to do this whenever she's ready.
Yeah.
She wants to.
Awesome.
Thank
All
you
right.
so
Well,
much.
you have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys.
Follow the
Bye.
Miami Give Back. Miami Give Back.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
bye.